Hi everyone, I'm Lily. I'm 8. Today I'm going to read a story. The title of this story is Oakley. Annie Oakley was born in a small Ohio town. As soon as she could leave her daddy hunting rifle, he was teaching her to shoot. When her daddy died, her mama was left in an awful way. She had a hard time feeding Annie and the other children. Annie saw how hard her mama has worked and decided to help. She picked up her daddy's rifle and went hunting. The first day, she brought home more fat pheasant than she could carry. Her family never went hungry again. Little Annie became the best hunter in the country right quick. She started selling the extra food to the people around town and giving food to those who couldn't afford it. This went on for years until a man named Frank Butter came to town. He was a sharpshooter and he put on quite a show of shooting targets. At the end of the show, he asked the crowd if they knew anyone who was a better shot. The town people said they knew one of the person and sent someone up to fetch Annie. Then, when Frank saw shot Annie, who was skinny enough to hide behind a corn stalk, he laughed. Is this the best you got? Frank asked. The town people said yes. Annie just smiled. All right then, since the ladies challenged me, I'll let her pick the contest. Shooting cards, Annie said proudly. Are you sure? Frank replied, I'm the best card shooter in the West. Annie nodded and said, we'll be shooting cards edgewise. Frank went first. A boy set up 5 playing cards and little notches on the face, so the edges faces Frank. From where Frank stood, they were all but invisible. He took a deep breath and fired. He hit 3 cards, one through the middle and the top of 2 others. Annie stepped out, a small smile on her face. She asked the boy to set up cards on 2 fences opposite each other. Annie had moved like lightning and the gunshot was thunder. She shot the card in front of her clean and half with barely a thought. Then she pulled out a mirror and shot the card behind her from over her shoulder. Annie had won and Frank asked her to come on the road with him. started making a name for herself as the best. As the best shot in the West. People would toss pennies and dimes in the air at her show. She was fast enough to shoot everyone before it hit the ground. Any coin shot by any Oakley would immediately quadruple in value. Once a man became rich by throwing a bundle of silver dollars in the air, and he shot each one before it hit the ground. Buffalo Bill Wild West show was the biggest show in the world. Buffalo Bill heard of the lady sharpshooter and had to see her talent for himself. He took the famous Lakota Chief Sitting Bull with him to one of Annie's show. That was good, but not good enough for my show, Buffalo Bill told Annie afterward. Show me something amazing. Sitting Bull pointed to a speck high in the sky. Annie took aim and shot. The speck flew on, and Buffalo shook his head and started to walk away. Wait, said Sitting Bull. A few minutes passed, and a single tail feather from a large eagle drifted down. There was a bullet hole in the middle. Sitting Bull was so impressed that he named her Little Sure Shot. Buffalo nodded and said, What else have you got? Annie climbed a nearby hill, knew, aimed and fired. Then she kept firing again and again, always in the same direction. She came down the hill smiling. What were you shooting at? Buffalo Bill asked. You'll see, Annie said. Buffalo Bill and Sitting Bull said their goodbyes and started the long journey back to the Wild West show tent. They rode for almost a week before they saw the camp next to a large boulder. As they came closer, Buffalo Bill saw a message on the show boulder. It was in a dress carved by Annie's bullets. Buffalo Bill sent a telegram to the address inviting Annie Oakley to join the Wild West show. She did and went on to do even greater feats all over the world. They say she even made some new star by shooting holes in the sky, but that's another story. According to the book, which statement about Annie Oakley is true? A. She grew up in a big city. B. She could beat anybody in sharpshooting. C. She married Buffalo Bill. D. She was very tall. Answer B. Who is telling the story of Annie Oakley? A. A narrator. B. Annie. C. Frank Butler. D. Annie's father. Answer A. What caused Buffalo Bill to invite Annie to join his Wild West show? A. She rode a horse backward and shot a target. B. She became friends with Sitting Bull. C. She beat Frank Butler in a shooting contest. D. She carved her address into a boulder with bullets. Answer D. What happened after Annie's father died? A. Annie moved away to go to school. B. Annie's mother died too. C. Annie started hunting for food. D. Andy got a job in a carnival. I should C. According to the book, what does Annie do after Buffalo Bill sent her telegram? A. She does great feats all over the world. B. She married Frank Butler. C. She is a dog by Sitting Bull. D. All the above. She's B. What is the main reason the author wrote this book? A. To entertain. B. To inform. C. To persuade. D. All the above. I choose D. Which word best describe Annie? A. Shy. B. Impatient. C. Talent. D. All the above. I choose C. Annie Oakley became because of her sharp-shooting talent. A. Lonely. B. Annoyed. C. Famous. D. Tired. I choose C. The author of this book mostly likely wanted to A. Inform reader with facts about Buffalo Bill and Annie Oakley. C. Entertain reader with a story about Annie Oakley. C. Inform reader about Sitting Bull. D. Persuade reader to see a Wild West show. I should B. A true or fictional story told in imaginative way is a tale. B. Poem. C. Nonfiction. D. Biography. I choose A.
Yes! You passed. Click on the item.
I got 9 out of 10 correct. The end. Thank you for listening.